or no fault of Blandino's or John Perry's or Gene Steratore, all elite referees have all been plucked by TV networks. I would assume, I don't want to get into your financials, but I would assume life as a TV analyst for being a referee expert is a lot better than being an actual ref. Is there any way that the NFL, now granted, I don't think there's a lot of good refs out there. You don't have to say it. I'll say it. You're a representation of refs, so you don't have to say it. I think Alberto Riveron has stunk at his job. I think a lot of people on the field have stunk at their jobs, but I don't think we're giving a lot of people as much credit as it is to be a good ref. It takes a lot. You got to be a good politician. You have to be a good communicator. You have to be able to think fast. You have to do a lot of things. And a lot of the good refs are going to TV networks, I would assume, for a much better life and to be a voice of the game. How does the NFL in the future keep the good refs on the field as opposed to going and making the game better from an entertainment standpoint?
Well, I mean, I think the answer is rather simple. I mean, they need to be thought of that they have more value than what they have now. I mean, they just signed a collective bargaining agreement with the officials, and the officials seem to be happy with that. But when somebody, and I said this mistakenly on with Colin Cowherd on The Herd, I said, you know, if somebody comes to you and offers you more money and the work is only 10% of what you do in your job you had, you're going to take it. And then I thought, that's a stupid question. I'm going into my option year with Fox. Why did I say that? That I work only 10% of what I used to work. They're going to try to cut my salary, for God's sake. But they never have been valued. And I get it because it's a negative. Nothing positive comes from officiating. They don't generate any money with the league. They're a huge expense to a league, by the way, that values its money and how much they make the clubs. So it's the value's not there. But when you have this, like you say, I mean, you just look at the fact of in a 10-year period, they've had 4 different heads of officiating. I mean, it went from me to Carl Johnson to Dean Blandino, now Al Riveron. That's not great leadership when you have somebody coming in constantly that has a new style, a new thought. And then, of course, you have the McCaulays and the Steratores and the Perrys leaving. You know, I can't ever remember, and I'm sure historically, other than the first 2 years of existence of the National Football League, where you have 7 referees, 7 that are either in their first or second year. I mean, it takes a while to adjust to the speed and the technical aspects of becoming a referee. That's why, for example, you can't work a Super Bowl until you've worked 5 full years. This is a tough job, and now you have 7 out of 17 referees either in their first year or second, and now you have a new collective bargaining agreement which has offered a retirement incentive benefit, a 1-year benefit to those that have 20 years or more in the league. So we could see more referees leave and then create, that young paradigm where you're going to have more first, second, or third year referees than you have referees that have been doing it for 15 to 20 years. So it's an issue, and I think that, I've said this many times before. I don't think the structure of the way that officiating is set up right now is working, and I don't think Band-Aids do anything but heal a cut. I think the league, and I wish they would, and I wish they would step back and say, okay, it's time to essentially blow it up and figure out what we can do to make it better and think outside the box. Could that be the 8th official sky judge? In my opinion, yes. Could it be making all 17 referees full-time during the season where they meet at an officiating institute right after their games and they do everything together, evaluate everything together, propose rule changes, do all these things together, and then they go out on Saturdays to their crews with consistent messages? There are better ways to do this, and I only see it now because I've been out for a long time. I know what Al Riveron's going through. It's tough, but somebody's got to think outside the box here.